Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to Personal FX. Our guests are relaxing in the living room, and they have brought John anything from a mantel clock to an unusual lamp to signed autograph photo of Ronald and Nancy Reagan. And as always, some of these items could be up for sale. And out in Maxwell, Texas, we're going to look at a super collection of Mexican folk art. And guess where our super collector has to go to get it? Where? Mexico. Makes sense. It's going to be great stuff. We're going to take a look at it. And we're going to be talking about wind-up music boxes, basically, is what they are. There's wind-up phonographs. There's two different types. Yeah, we're going to talk about the collectability of these, all coming up on today's Personal Effects. Claire, I think they're playing on soon. The hills are alive with the sound of music, John.
But old soldiers never die. They were
Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's Personal Effects. You're about to see a real moment. I have not met our contributors today. Hey, everybody. How you doing? How you doing? Nice to see you. Glad you're here. What's your name? Cindy. Cindy. Where are you from?
Poughkeepsie, New York.
Poughkeepsie. Welcome. What are you going to have appraised?
A daguerreotype.
Oh, is that this?
Right.
Is that this?
Yes.
Now, where did you get this?
An antique store.
Do we know anything about this person, who this is?
I have no idea. I'd like to find out.
Maybe it's somebody famous. Maybe it's like a young president or something worth $1 million.
I love that.
I hope so. We'll find out a little bit later on. If you'd like to be a guest in our FX apartment, here's how you do it. You give us a call at that Sprint-sponsored 1-800-FX-FX-FX1 number, and we'll set it up. All right, let's go out to Maxwell, Texas, where J.D. is visiting with today's Super Collector. Hi, J.D.
Hey, John. It's kind of like stepping into Mexico here in Harold's house. This is Harold Huff, and he has incredible Mexican folk art. Now, you go the extra mile. You go to Mexico frequently, right?
We go to Mexico as often as we can, generally at least once a year, if not more often. And we, of course, look all around the United States for folk art, too.
And you're going tomorrow?
Well, day after tomorrow. We're heading back down, trying to find some neat things to buy to add to the collection.
What's interesting, he goes up to the Brimfield market in Massachusetts, and you find a lot of folk art up there.
We find Mexican folk art up there. I've found it in Santa Fe. You'll find it in Mississippi. You can kind of find it a little bit everywhere if you look hard enough.
Okay, look around at this incredible stuff. Why Mexican folk art? Why does it hold a special
Well, you know,
to you?
we're in Texas, which was Mexico long before it was the United States or Texas. And the Mexican folk art is something that people put a lot into. We love the style. We love the efforts of it. And, you know, we appreciate the artisans' work and what they are able to create from pottery to textiles.
And we're going to take a look at some of that incredible work in just a minute, John.
And J.D., he's heading off to Mexico tomorrow, so we can all put our orders in before he leaves. Maybe
That's right.
All right, we'll check in with the two of you a little bit later on. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, let's get into some appraisals. Claire, I think you have Tim over there, right?
Tim is joining us. Meet Susie Anderson, and as well as Ron Norris. Welcome. Where are you from?
Thank you. Miami, Florida.
Well, what brings you to New York?
I won a trip on a local TV station in Florida.
Really?
So I decided to see you guys first. I actually am going to see Ricky Lake in a couple of days, but I had to see Personal Effects first.
How nice. So the trip was to see Ricky, but you're here first.
Of course.
Are you a lucky guy? Do you win a lot of things?
Yes, yes.
Let's stick with him. All right. You didn't win the Jungle Book, did you?
No. I bought this in Disney World at MGM Studios. They have a little antique store there.
How long ago did you buy it?
About 3 years ago.
Okay. Where he bought it is important because in our industry that's called the ultimate marketplace. And I know just before we came on the air I asked him what he paid for it, which really was reasonable. I was surprised for an ultimate marketplace what you paid for it.
Okay. What we have here, this was sent out to like newspapers and magazines for the promotion, and they could select the size, and this is camera ready, so it's real easy for them to advertise, and that's why companies like Disney and many other companies do the same type of thing. This is strictly promotional for that particular market.
Right. This is about the page that I like the best in this book. It has a pull-out insert, and I think this is basically what a collector is going to be looking for.
Because it's in color.
Right.
Yeah.
And
So we're looking for how many years down the line is this going to become more valuable?
this already is collectible. This was from the 60s, and it has a nice color and a color insert, and the rest are promotional items in there. Now, knowing you paid $10 for it, I think that is great, especially in California, because I'm going to value it right now at about $25.
I think 25 is very reasonable for the whole shooting match, and I'm surprised too. I didn't know that he only paid $10 for it. You did real well.
But you have a feeling down the line it's going to be worth a lot more.
Definitely.
So it's a question of whether you hold on to it, let it appreciate in value, or put it up for sale today.
I'll take some offers.
Okay, he's feeling lucky.
lucky.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
joining your trivia.
Thank you.
Our number is 212-802-0082, and Erica is next. This is your husband.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Are you lucky that like he is?
No, I'm not.
Well, lucky that you married him.
Yes.
Great.
And tell us about your photograph and how you got it.
My husband mailed away about 3-4 years ago, and this is what they sent him back.
Okay, so this would have been after his presidency.
Yes.
And, of course, it's Ronald and Nancy Reagan. They actually sent out an awful lot of photos when he was president, and even now, they're more than happy to send you a photo and a signed photo. And I believe
Right.
that's an original signature from both of them, Nancy
This
and Ronald Reagan.
looks very much like her writing, and what is of interest to me is the time frame, because if you look, he only signed his name down here, and it's just starting to look a little shaky. It looks pretty good on the screen because I'm looking at the monitor, but if you look at it in person, you can actually see where he had to go back and put the capital R back in, just the onset of his illness. This is a collectible that, if it were mine, I would hold on to, because it's going to escalate in the future. I like the time frame on it. Please note somewhere in this sleeve what year you got it. It's important. Right now, I'm going to put it at about $45 to $50.
Yeah, I think I'm going to come in just a little bit under because it's not during his presidency, which I think would make it. So I'm going to go about $20 to $25.
But how lovely that they hand signed it.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So you're giving some advice to hold on to this because it will appreciate, or you can put it up for sale. What would you like to do?
Entertain offers.
Do that? Okay, thank you so much. And Lynn is joining us next. Hi, Lynn.
Hi.
Good to have you visiting.
Thank you.
Do much collecting?
Well, these were given to my husband, and we don't know too much about them except that we were told that they're coin silver and that they might be very old, but I'm not sure how old.
Okay. There are 4 identical and 1 different.
Right.
All right. Let's go to the matching ones. Yes, indeed, they are American coin silver. And what I'm hoping the camera will pick up is the seam right here. The first period of American coin silver, the spoons are made like a lollipop fashion in 2 parts. And you can definitely see the seam on this one as well as the odd one down here.
Explain coin silver.
Coin silver is 900 silver. It's a little, sterling silver is 92.5% silver. Coin silver is 90% silver. Okay.
So it is silver, and it's basically the amount of silver that was in the coin of the realm at that period of time. It changes twice. One in the high 800s, and then it goes over 9. These have the hallmark of Eaton, and just before we went on air, I went to my silver book, and this is Eaton out of Boston, Massachusetts, and these date about 1815?
Yeah, 1805, 1815.
In this
that
time
area.
frame.
And that makes sense because of the fact of the way that this thing was put together
Two
in
parts.
2 pieces. So those things work right together. That's his,
Right.
his
Give us
mark.
the value of all of them.
Well, usually a coin silver spoon in fair condition, because they all have little dents and stuff, will go for about $25 for each. We have 4 identical, therefore add 10% for the 4. So we'll go to 1 1/4 for the 4 and 25 for this. So I'm 150 on the collection.
I'm going to stick to about 75 to 100 because they also are monogrammed, and that generally does not help the value
Oh,
unless
we
it's
look for
somebody
that
special.
in coin silver.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
Why?
because of the type of engraving and the family history.
We got a heated discussion going on
There we
around
go.
this.
All right.
Would you like to put it up for sale?
Sure.
All right, thank you so much. Little did I know that coin silver would generate this kind of heat, John.
A heated discussion, and that's not the only thing that's heated right now, Claire. There was an article in yesterday's USA Today, a piece of Mars becoming precious like nothing on Earth. There's going to be an auction coming up where they are auctioning off 3 meteorites, 3 little rocks from Mars. Now, some people are saying, well, this is a full set. And there's some other people saying, no, they need about 4 or 5 different types to make it a full set. So there's a heated discussion. They're expecting the lot to go for $1.5 million to $2 million for the 3 rocks. It would have been double that, but they can't find the box. That's the problem. Let's get a preview of the next item to be appraised. It's out in Texas. It belongs to Deborah. Hi, Deborah. What do you have there?
Hi. This is a carousel horse that I'm wanting to have appraised. And we will be coming up next on Personal FX.
We are looking at a view of downtown Austin, Texas. We're overlooking the town lake, which just happens to be the Colorado River. Our super collector lives just 26 miles away in Maxwell, Texas. And by the way, it's kind of a warm day there today, about 75 degrees. And I think in New York, it's maybe chilling out at about 35 degrees right now. Claudia, what do you think of the weather?
Cold out there.
It's cold, about 35 degrees?
Yes.
Claudia got a mini appraisal during the show. Tell me about what you brought.
This is a plate from my great-grandmother from about the turn of the century. The appraisers say it's an RS Prussia. And they feel that because some of the gold has worn off through the years, and it's not pristine, that it's worth $65 to $95.
Oh, just staying in your family or going up for sale?
I think I'll entertain some offers.
You will?
Yes.
Our number to call is 212-802-0082. And by the way, are you a collector?
No, not yet, but I've been addicted to your show for many months now, and I'm learning a lot, and I do plan to start soon.
Oh, that's great. John, she's addicted and she's not a collector, so we have a lot of responsibility to help her learn.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Good luck. Have you been to the Austin area?
No, I haven't. Have you?
No, I've always heard good things about it. Never gotten to go. Always wanted to go.
I like the picture that we just showed of that water.
Well, let's go right now. Let's go to
right now.
Texas right now, where Deborah has joined us. Hi, Deborah. How are you today?
Fine, thanks.
You're welcome. Tell us more about what you got there.
This is a carousel horse that I bought about 15 years ago, and it came from New York. And at the time, it had about 15 layers of paint on it, and I took those layers of paint off and took it down to its original coat. It looks a bit rough now, but this is originally how it was painted. And I believe this was a swinging Jenny type of carousel, where it was hooked in the front and hooked in the back behind the tail. And the tail is horsehair, and the ears are little leather ears that have been plugged in. And I was just interested in getting an appraisal done on it.
Deborah, that is great. I love that. What do you two think?
Does she know which carousel it came from?
You can ask her.
No, I don't. I'm not certain which carousel. I just know it was a collection that had come out of New York.
Okay, because if you know where it came from, it does add to the value. She did the right thing. She has layer stripped it down, and the next step would have it to professionally put back to what it originally looked like in its pristine condition.
So she's done the right thing so far.
Yeah, she layer stripped it down.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's really not in pristine condition, and so it's going to have to really be restored. And I think this kind of a piece is the type that you really want to get it professionally restored. A lot of times it doesn't matter. It's not going to add any value.
Here it does.
In this case, it does. These are very, very collectible, and some of them garner, I mean, thousands and thousands of dollars. This one in this condition, however, doesn't quite go that high.
But it has the potential. It certainly has the potential.
It has the potential.
Sure does.
All right.
Sure does.
So what's its current value? What's the potential?
Insurance replacement on this piece, as is how it stands, is about $1,500. Perfectly restored, it would probably go to $3,000.
Yeah. I think the way that it is right now, if you were going to resell it, $1,000 tops.
Okay.
And that would have to be probably to somebody that knew what they were doing to fix it up.
Okay. Deborah, do you want to keep it restored, or do you want to go ahead and take some bids now?
Oh, I'm interested in taking some bids now.
All right. Thanks for bringing it by. We'll let you know.
Thank you.
Okay. Up next is Christine. Hi, Christine.
Hi. Nice
How are you? Nice to meet you. Now, where'd you get this mantle clock here?
It was given to our family by a friend of their family, and we've had it for a few years, and it's still running.
Sounds
still
good.
Ticking away. And it's a Seth Thomas clock, and I don't know much about it except that I'd like to find out how old it is, maybe, and what it's.
Right. Well, Seth Thomas just made literally thousands and thousands of clocks. And this particular type of clock, there were also an awful lot made. This is called a camelback clock because of it's humped. There's an awful lot of them still around. I mean, when they made them well, and a lot of them you get today, and they still work just like this one. I like it. It's clean. If we can take a look at the inside is very clean. So whoever had it for all those years, and I'd say this is probably 20s, 30s. That's what it looks like to me, and that's without looking it up. But you can, you look it up in a book, and you can nail it to the exact year. It's clean. It's nice. Very common. Not really ornate. $35 to $60, I think, at auction you could probably get for that.
That's a fair estimate for an auction price. In a shop, you would see them running from $75 to $95 with the finish fixed, because this is alligatored a little bit. This has obviously been on top of a fireplace and it's been near a heat source.
Okay.
Exactly.
Well, what do you think? You want to take some bids or keep it?
I'm going to hold on to it. It has sentimental value.
I don't blame you. Thank you so much for bringing that by. I appreciate that. Okay, up next is Eric. Hi, Eric.
Hi.
How are you, sir?
Fine.
Where are you from?
Connecticut.
Oh, welcome, welcome. What do you have here? What are these?
Well, these are coins that have been engraved on the backside. They're dated on the front in the late 1800s.
Okay, they're not in the classification of a coin any longer,
Right.
though. These are called love tokens, and you're going to need to get some tight shots on that, so I'm not going to hold it. Victorian period. Well, let's go backwards to my high school days. When you were going steady with someone, you wore the guy's class ring on a chain around the neck, right? Victorian period, what the young man would do was take a dime or a quarter, deface it completely, and have something engraved on it, or engrave it himself. And that's why they're called love tokens. Most often they are drilled with a hole because they're meant to go on a chain or on a piece of jewelry. Most often we find these in button boxes or the bottoms of drawers, and people really don't know what they are. It's a very low-cost collectible. Their average price range is from $15. I've never seen one for over $50. And I have some myself that are even set with turquoise and coral, because I collect these, too. Most often because people don't know what they are, but they are silver.
It says a date on it from 1894.
Yeah, they're really cool.
Right. So this is really an old dime.
It's an old dime. Yeah. That's what they are.
Yeah. And it's funny because people did that, and they could take the coins, actually, at that time. They didn't have laws against defacing our coins. Now you're not supposed to do it, but people do it anyway, so I guess the law doesn't work in that case either.
And here you've got names, and you've got a ship motif, and...
Well, this one says Sam on it, which is kind of interesting.
That's my initials all put together, is Sam.
Oh, is that right?
Right. Susie McLennan Anderson is Sam.
So the total value of what we have here?
Well, I think maybe about $5 a piece for them. Susie, probably, what do you think?
45. I'm about $110 on all of them.
Oh, all right. Well, what do you think, sir? You want to take some bids?
Oh, let's see what happens.
See what happens. Thank you very much for bringing us by. I appreciate that. All right, Cindy is up next. Hey, Cindy.
Hi.
Glad you made it today. Now, tell us again where you got this and exactly what it is.
I believe it's called a daguerreotype, and it's from an antique shop.
Okay, this is an early photograph, but it's not a daguerreotype. A daguerreotype would be an image that's on copper. This is an image which is on glass, and that's known as an ambrotype. They're pretty easy to date because their popularity and usage only lasted about 10 years, from about 1855 to 1865. So we know that's probably when it was made. The problem that you have with this is it's starting to deteriorate. Okay, the image itself is starting to crack. The other thing that you look for with any of these old photographs is uniqueness or somebody who is famous, all right? I don't know if this is anybody famous. I kind of doubt it, all right? So therefore, it's a very common piece.
Yeah, that's a common image.
Now you got to look at the condition, and the condition is not real good. And if you were going to sell that, or it's not in a case, etc., so I'm going to put about $5 on it only because of the condition and the fact that it's not somebody famous.
That's
it's an ambrotype, not a daguerreotype.
Between 5 and 15. It's not in good shape.
I just want to know who it is. That bothers me. Do you want to take some bids, or do you want to keep it?
I'll take some bids.
See, somebody out there might be watching going, my great-great-grandfather. Oh, that's right. See what happens. Thank you for bringing that by. All right, let's go out to Maxwell, Texas, where J.D. is visiting with today's super collector of Mexican folk art. J.D., what do you got there?
Hey, John, look at this. You look around on a lot of Mexican folk art, and you see one thing in common. This woman, and she is Guadalupe, and she is like the patron saint of Mexico. Now, legend has it in 1531, she appeared to Juan Diego in the hills of Mexico, and she handed him roses. Miraculously, these roses appeared on his cloak. Well, she told him to build a church so that the orphan children will have a place to go and someone will hear their prayers. And now she is the protector of Mexico, and you can see her image on everything. And look at this, John. Are you ready? Even a gear shift. Ladies and gentlemen, a Guadalupe gear shift.
Oh,
We're
my
going to
gosh.
see some interesting Mexican folk art coming up next on Personal FX.
You can run, but you can't hide. There's no escape from the FX Sci-Fi Invasion. Tune in for a live event when John Burke and Claire Carter host the Personal FX Science Fiction Auction at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific.
This is your chance to bid live on some of the most eclectic sci-fi memorabilia on the planet.
We're having our own interplanetary tag sale.
Plus, at 8 p.m., FX presents the sci-fi thriller Predator, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Knock, knock.
It all happens Wednesday, November 20th. Surrender to FX's Sci-Fi Invasion.
Today's FX Collector Speak Word of the Day, a reproducer. That refers to the part of a phonograph that translates vibration into sound. It's the round device connected to the needle. That's the reproducer.
And those phonographs in our ballroom right now are reproducing the most incredible sounds.
Aren't they? They just sound great.
They're beautiful, great works of art. Let's tell you about the items that are up for sale, starting with the Jungle Book press book. Dates back to the 1960s. It was sent out to newspapers and media as promotional pieces. $25 right now, but the kind of thing, John, that if they hold on to it, could be worth more later on. And then we have an autographed picture of Nancy and Ronald Reagan, and it is their signature. It'll appreciate in value as time marches on. Original signature is $20 to $50, what it's worth right now. And then the coin silver spoons, less silver than sterling silver, 900 silver versus 925. Four match, made by Eaton from 1805 to 1815, $75 to $150 for all of them.
And next to the spoons, we have the Prussia plate right there, and that was appraised at $65 to $95 right there, the RS Prussia plate. And out in Texas, we have the carousel horse, which if you get it restored, it's probably going to double the value. So right now, you're looking at $1,000 to $1,500 as is, but again, if you get it professionally restored.
I've always wanted a carousel horse, one day.
Really? There it is right there. We also have the love tokens. There are 8 of them, and these were worn as a symbol of love in Victorian times. They're actually coins that start out as coins, and those are appraised at $40 to $110 for all of them.
I enjoy the story of the love tokens. And then we have the ambrotype that was appraised at $5 to $15. It's painting on glass, dates back to 1855, 1865. So, as you're looking at these items, if you're interested in bidding on any of them, our number to call is 212-802-0082. So which piece did you want to go shopping with our super collector when he goes back to Mexico?
Mexican folk art. Anything that he can find. Anything that he can. I love this stuff.
Yeah.
This stuff is terrific. Let's go see some more out in Maxwell, Texas. JD?
John, Claire, put in your orders. He's going tomorrow. And he has a little bit of everything. This is our super collector, Harold Huff. And Harold, you have some interesting... This is straw art?
This is a straw mosaic. It's called pepotes. And you would get them at a poperia, where an artist would take little fine pieces of straw, dye them sometimes, and make mosaic art forms out of them. This one is a church in the background with a village scene and a river.
Can you see the detail in there, John and Claire?
Yes, it's amazing.
Incredible. These little pieces of straw.
Gosh. And this one that he's showing now is probably from about 1910 to 1930.
What about this one?
This one's probably around that same period, 1930, give or take a few years. This one with the gentleman with the serape over his arm is probably around from 1950 or so.
And what's the value of these if you find them with a lot of detail like the first one?
With a lot of detail will be a $75 to $100 range. The very large ones that are very pictorial and specifically done in the late 1800s will bring $1,500, $2,000. And you can just see the great detail in some of the older ones because they use very, very small pieces of straw.
And they're called?
Pepotes.
Pepotes. Now look over here. Look at these little chests and boxes. Tell us about these.
These are Olinala chests. These are made from linaloa wood, which is a lemon type of wood. Some of them are painted with decorative scenes or floral. Some of them have many coats of paint that are incised, where they come back and carve off part of the paint and leave the relief. When you feel this, you can actually feel the depth of where the painting was carved away from, say, 5 or 6 layers to create these animal images.
And these larger ones would be used to hold linens or valuable items?
Exactly. It might have been like a dowry chest to put your wedding things in or to store your linens. The small ones were often used from pencil boxes to for handkerchiefs, linens, etc.
And you said this one is rare because
it's an unusual shape.
Heart shape.
See, we have some jewelry in this one. It's kind of a heart shape, and I've never seen another heart shape like that quite.
All right, now look at these. These are the
these are serapes.
Serapes, which is a wearing
blanket. Serapes have been woven in Mexico since the 17th century. Most people became familiar with them in the United States in the 20th century, specifically from the 1920s on up to today.
Now this one, you have an interesting story. Quickly tell me that one.
This particular one has silver threads worked in it, which is very unusual. This one was bought in Guanajuato, Mexico in 1912. It was probably woven a little bit earlier than that. I bought it from a lady in Austin who said that her husband had bought it as a gift for her, and she did not care for it at that time. She told me she had had this in a cedar chest for over 50 years until she pulled it out for me.
Wow.
And of course, I was thrilled to get it, and it was in great condition.
Incredible. This is an interesting one. Let's just briefly touch on this.
This is quite a bit older serape. This one was done 1850 to 1875. It has an unusual center round medallion with little cross designs in the background. And this is one of the 2 or 3 older pieces that we have, and this one happens to be in very good condition for its age.
Wow. Now let's talk here about the monkey. Tell me about this.
This is a mezcal decanter. This would have had mezcal, which was about an 80% alcoholic beverage. If I was having you over to visit for a while, we might fill this up, pour each other a drink, and after a while, we'll be acting like monkeys.
And how old is this?
This is probably 1900 to 1920. This one has a good bit of age to it, and it's in pretty good shape.
Wow. Now, I didn't realize, but miniatures are very popular. Mexican miniatures.
Mexican
now, tell
miniatures.
us about these.
They've been done since the late 1800s. These are approximately 1.5 inches tall. The Mexican people love them very much. They're clay over wire, then decorated. This one happens to be a scene of a Mexican hat dance with a band, and you'll see all different forms.
Now, are they valuable?
Yes, Nelson Rockefeller had a lot in his collection. They'll vary depending on condition from, say, $5 to $10 a piece and up.
Okay, thanks a lot, Harold. That's a lot of information to get in there, and there are a lot of other pieces we could show you. But that's it.
Boy, J.D., I haven't found anything I don't like. This is all just terrific.
You're going to put in your order, John?
Yes, I will after the show. Harold, thank you very much for showing us your collection. It's terrific.
Thank you, John.
How about a great wall hanging for your apartment, John?
No, I could do that.
love what's hanging on his wall.
I could use the miniatures. I could use the masks, all that kind of great stuff. Folks, don't go away. When Personal FX returns, we're going to talk about beautiful collectible phonographs. Stay with us.
Central on FX.
Personal FX always on the road, and next week we're going to be in Quincy and Beverly, Massachusetts, followed the following week by Naples and Fort Myers, Florida, and then heading out to Los Angeles December 2nd through the 6th. If you have anything that you'd like to have appraised on the show, here's what you do. You call us at our Sprint sponsored number, 1-800-FX-FX-FX1. And welcome back to Personal FX. Steve has traveled all the way from where?
Utah.
You're a long way from home. Good to have you with us, and tell us about your lamp.
It's a desk lamp my dad gave me. It's I think it's from around the 50s, possibly a desk lamp of his from college.
It's not your everyday looking lamp. Let's see what the appraisers have to say.
It sure isn't. This is a standard industrial type of lamp, and this wasn't made for a home. This was probably an office lamp of some sort. It's got a very deep well, so you would have to have a special bulb, which you can still buy today. One thing I would do is definitely rewire it if you want to use it.
Oh, okay.
It's a little bit rough in the wiring area.
But it is from the period. It's Art Deco, and it is an industrial lamp meant for a desk. Scratched and needs
Pitted?
some work. It is pitted,
Right.
but it is period, and I'm going to put it at about $60.
Yeah, $50 I think is pretty good for it, and again, it does need to be a little cleaned
And
up.
it can be restored. and
Yeah, it
cleaned up
can
just a
be,
little bit.
but the shape and form is great.
Looks like a mushroom, kind of neat.
Were you interested in putting it up for sale?
I'll take offers on it, sure.
Okay, we'll do that for you. And tell your friend who didn't show up today.
Yeah, he's chickened out.
Oh, say hello to him for us. I used to tell you the story before the show. Our number call is 212-802-0082. And let's go back on out to Texas where Kathy has an item to be appraised. Hi, Kathy. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
What have you got?
I have these Gorham plates. They're Frederick Remington prints My father got them about 5 years ago at auction in Katy, Texas.
We'll be happy to appraise them.
Okay, now these were made by whom?
Gorham.
Gorham. Okay.
They were produced by the Museum of Fine Arts in Houston, Texas. I know nothing about them. They're Remington prints.
They're created for the collectible market. They fall into classification of pop culture. They have not escalated, and they do not do well on the aftermarket. Unfortunately, insurance replacement would be what your dad paid for it. They might do better where you live because of the Western motif, but here on the East Coast, we'd be lucky to get $30 a plate for them.
Really?
I don't think, in all honesty, at auction, I could get $10 for each one. So, you know, $5 a piece, I think, is reasonable in my market.
Would you like to hold on to them or put them up for sale?
I want to hold on to them.
Okay. Hold on to them, enjoy them. Thank you so much for being with us. And Sue is joining us next.
Hi.
Where did you get this?
I got it at a garage sale for about $10 many years ago.
All right.
And I've always been curious about it.
Yeah, this is a very unusual type. This is a kerosene lamp. All right, they put kerosene in here. And it's not an early one, and the reason that I'm going to say that is because this is aluminum. And aluminum wasn't able to really be used extensively until after like 1914, all right? So what this is for, this clips onto something and is used as a spring. So it could have been for a train, something that was going to bounce around quite a bit. Later piece, probably, I'm going to put this in the 20s. I don't think it was any earlier than that, again, because of the aluminum manufacturing on it. Standard type industrial piece. It's different because of this, all right? But that's the only thing that really offsets it at this point.
What it has going against it is that it's later period. What it's got going for it is that it's an Aladdin. Against it is I found a part made in England. Aladdin wasn't made in England. It's Nashville, Tennessee. So I think you have a replacement part on there. And therefore, if it were like brass or another metal, I would go, if it were railroad, I would go as high as $500. Unfortunately, on this one, I'm going to bring it down to $125.
$125 run?
Yeah, I think I'm going to come in about $75 on it. One of the things that people don't understand, however, is that kerosene lamps were produced well into the 30s because people didn't have electricity. A lot of people didn't have electricity.
Okay, in that price range, would you like to put it up for sale?
I think so.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Thank you so much for visiting with us.
Thank you.
And we're about to see some very beautiful works of art, John. That's how I describe what's in the ballroom.
I would agree with you. Rich McGregor, World of Wind-Ups is here. Hi, Rich. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Thanks for stopping by.
My pleasure.
Now, these wind-up phonographs, they're really two types of phonographs. Is that right?
That's correct, John. You have the Edison cylinder phonograph, the machine that Mr. Edison invented roughly around the year 1877, and his competitor, Eldridge Johnson, who made the disc phonographs, actually invented by Emil Berliner, a German fellow, in the year 1888.
Now, this is the first type that we're going to talk about, and this
That's
is a
correct.
cylinder phonograph.
Right.
Is that right?
Exactly. It played records that looked just like this. Edison produced them in boxes that were contained in small little 4-inch containers. And basically what you did was you pulled your record out like so on the angle. The machine operated by simply opening up this swing gate. You place the cylinder right on the mandrel like so. Close your swing gate. Turned it on. And a brief entertainment.
Yeah,
lasted for about 2 minutes.
Yowza, yowza, yowza. That is terrific. And this basically acted as a volume control right here. Is that right?
Exactly. The bigger the horn, the louder it sounded. The original Edison horns that were shipped with the machines were just basically small 14-inch horns that provided the sound that you needed.
That's the cylinder. This is the disc. Tell me about this one.
Yes. This is the Victor III from about the year 1902. It's an outside horn phonograph, and this horn is basically a wood composite horn, although it looks like wood, it really isn't.
That is amazing. Where can you find these today?
Well, the outside horn Victors are very difficult to find. They were quickly replaced by the floor model Victrolas, which came out around the year 1911, and they were quickly thrown away. You can still find these at yard sales and garage sales from time to time, but most of them have been gobbled up by collectors.
Now, the prices on these can really vary.
Considerably, yes. The outside horn disc machines usually start around $1,500 and up today, depending upon their condition, whether it's a wood horn or a metal horn. And the Edison phonographs, depending if it's a standard or a home, can start anywhere from $600 and go up to as much as $5,000 if it's an opera.
Well, for somebody who wants to start collecting these, this is a good place to start.
Absolutely. You're looking at the world's first musical entertainment system. It's called the Victrola. And it was a very practical machine. The doors on top here were the volume control, where the horn was placed inside a cabinet. The lid acted as your tone control. There was storage for your records down below, as well as storage for your needles, as well as a little garbage can to throw your used needles away.
The lid acted as the tone control. Now, how did that work? You mean as far as volume, or?
No, well, when the needle touches the surface of the record, there's surface noise that's created by the contact of the needle to the vinyl. And it makes like a hissing sound. So when you drop the lid down, it kind of takes that hiss away, and the sound just comes out clearly out the doors right in front.
Accessories are very collectible, and these can be found at garage sales and flea
garage sales more readily than the machines these days, unfortunately. Small needle tins especially, extremely collectible. Wide variety of colors and shapes, as well as literature and small other accessories, such as this little Edison oil bottle. This device here was a machine that would cut the wood fiber needles that would be available as a choice between wood and steel needles that you would place on these Victrolas.
You know, there's just something about that sound when it comes out kind of scratchy and it comes out through that big megaphone-looking thing. It's just great.
Exactly.
Rich, thank you so much for stopping by and showing us these. These are terrific.
Thank you.
That is just amazing. All right, folks, let's get a preview of the next item to be appraised. It's out in Texas. Belongs to Christopher. Hi, Christopher. What do you have there?
Hi, my name's Christopher. I'd like to have my porcelain falcon here appraised. Coming up next on Personal FX.
Welcome back to Personal FX. Now, wouldn't one of those phonographs look good in one's apartment?
Yes, it would. I can see that my apartment is someday going to look like Sanford and Son. It's just going to be packed and stuff.
Well, if you're interested in any of the items that are up for sale right now, let's tell you about the ones that are getting phone call bids. Let's start out with the Jungle Book press book, which dates back to the 60s. It was sent out to the press, worth about $25. Could be worth a lot more in the future. And then we have the autographed picture of Nancy and Ronald Reagan that will also appreciate in value. It's signed by them. It is worth now $20 to $50. The RS pressure plate that we saw dates back to anywhere from 1890 to about 1914. Not in pristine condition, but it is worth $65 to $95 in the condition it's in.
Then we've got the love tokens. They're worn as a symbol of love in Victorian times. If you love someone, deface government property. I think that's what it is. These were appraised at $40 to $110 for the whole set there. Those are actually coins from the late 1800s. She's looking at me like, what was that? The Ambrotype, image on glass, made during 1855 to 1865. This was appraised at $5 to $15 based on its condition, basically, and it's not somebody famous. So.
Right. And let's tell you our number one, it's again 212-802-0082. Love tokens, huh, John?
Love tokens. Love tokens. I didn't know about this. All right, let's go to Maxwell, Texas, where Christopher has joined us. Hi, Christopher. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. How you doing?
Great. Tell us more about what you got there.
Well, I got this porcelain falcon that I found at the citywide garage sale in Austin. I've been told that it's a German piece. It was made by a German manufacturer in the mid-1800s or possibly even earlier. It has this blue mark underneath. That's the blue swords, two swords crossed, and I was told that that was the mark of Meissen, the German manufacturer.
Interesting, Christopher. We just had an item on yesterday with the same mark, and what we found out is not always. Doesn't always mean Meissen, but a lot of times it does. But sometimes it does.
I can't believe he found that at a garage sale.
That's great, huh?
That is unbelievable. The cross sword mark, only that heavy mark on the side concerns me a little bit. It's usually not that thick, but it does look correct. Meissen's been in business for a few hundred years, and Bottinger was the first one that discovered the secret of porcelain outside of the Chinese. This is a later pull, and this is probably from the 1900 to 1910 range. It is outstanding. If you get a very good close-up of that detail, you will not believe some of those brush strokes. It's only one hair thick. Low-end retail, I'm going to $3,000.
Yeah, the workmanship, it looks like it's a piece of Meissen. They made a lot of figurines of people, but they also did make birds. It looks to me like that is a Meissen piece. The mark, I think, is also true, and I think it is turn of the century. Fantastic piece. You said, what, 3,000? I'm gonna stick in that range. It could go higher.
Okay.
Right.
Christopher, there you go. Do you want to take some bids, or do you want to keep it?
I'd love to take some bids.
All right, let's...
I love the piece, but I'm interested to hear what people have to say.
Yeah, I am too. Let's see what happens. Thanks for bringing it by. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
And John, that's what you go to garage sales for, to find that kind of a find.
That's right.
Let's turn to our mailbag. We have a letter that was written by Gloria Labont from South Hadley, Massachusetts. Enclosed are photos of an antique vase that is in perfect condition. It measures 18 inches high, 11 inches at the widest point, and is hand-painted with gold trim. The bottom reads Royal Bond, Germany, 1855, and is also signed Beerbaum. The vase depicts a beautiful woman sitting on a wall with mountains and sky in the background. I'd like to know how much this item might be worth.
Two fantastic pieces,
right in
to
a
back.
row.
This is Royal Bond. Royal, they started using in 1890, and the company went out of business in 1931, so we can date it within that period. The workmanship on this, the size, everything, this piece is absolutely spectacular, and I like it at $1,000.
I like it at $1,500 and up.
Really? Gloria, if you're watching right now.
Beautiful.
Wow.
That's gorgeous.
Thank you so much for your letter.
Aura Kalajian wrote in, and she wrote in from North Hollywood, California, and she says, I've enclosed photos of a jacket that my husband and I recently purchased at an estate sale. It is a 1981 Jackson's tour jacket. Embroidered on the back is the Jacksons, while the front reads Michael. The tag on the inside pocket reads Dick Greffy Productions, LP designs by Mary Bassel. In the pockets, I found a pass for the Forum Club and one for all access. The jacket is a size 36 extra small, XS. Hope your appraisers can tell me more.
A fairly common piece on the marketplace, currently trading at about the $100 mark.
Yeah, I think it's going to drop substantially. $30 to $35.
You're thinking it's going to drop?
I think it's going to drop in the future.
His popularity, well, this is the family, but he has spikes and then it goes way down. So this is like volatile.
Does it matter that there's a pass for the Forum Club and a one for all access pass in the pocket?
They're only worth a few dollars. They're cute. It's a nice addition to it. Currently at 100, can go up, can go down in 5 minutes.
Okay, there you go, Aura. Thanks for writing in.
And next, we have Janice Brown from Chicago, Illinois, who's on the line right now. Hi, Janice. Welcome to the program.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Good to have you with us. Now, you wrote us about a particular ceramic piece. Please tell us more.
Yes, it was the first antique I've ever purchased about 30 years ago, and the dealer told me that she thought it was about 65 years old from the person she purchased it from, and if true, obviously the piece would be about 95 years old. It has a few chips on the top, very soft white clay body, and there's a few pieces of that soft glaze that are chipped.
Well, we'll be happy to appraise it for you now.
Okay, sorry to hear any of it's chipped, but when it's soft like that, it's, you know, there's not much you can do about it. I'll tell you, it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. It's really different. I like it.
Well, it's been reproduced many times, and it's back in favor right now as a reproduction. Unfortunately, with its shape and condition, I can only put about $40 on it.
Yeah, I think 40 is pretty good, and that's an old one. That is not one of the current reproductions.
That's right.
I just saw the movie Fly Away Home, which deals with wild geese, so that brings back some loving memories. Were you interested in putting it up for sale or holding on to it?
No, I think I'll hold on to it. Okay. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks for being on the line today, and enjoy it.
Thank you.
Did you like that movie?
Oh, I did.
Did you movie?
Yeah, you should go see it.
Well, fly back here, because in a second, we're going to be telling you about the big bids. So stay with us. Welcome back to Personal FX. Before we get started with the big bids, I want to thank Rich McGregor for stopping by. Thank you very much.
My pleasure, John.
And tell me about GEM. What is that that's coming up this weekend?
Yes, the Great Great Eastern Mechanical Music Show on Sunday, November 17th at the Ramada Plaza Hotel, just outside the JFK International Airport.
From 8:30 to 4. So if you need more information about that, call the show. Once again, thanks for stopping by. Claire, let's get started with those big bids.
All right. Are you ready? Tim, for your Jungle Book, Rusty from Omaha, Nebraska would like to offer you $50.
Sold.
Erika for the Reagan photo. Stephen from Tuckerton, New Jersey is offering $125.
think about it.
Okay, look at the husband. And Lynn, for your silver spoons, Nancy from Corpus Christi, Texas, would like to offer you $160. Sold.
Claudia with the RS Prussia plate. Jim from Alexandria, Louisiana, called in with an offer of $150.
Sold.
Eric with the love tokens. Jackie from Tacoma, Washington, called in with an offer of $110.
I'll think about it.
Think about it, okay. Cindy with the amber type. Ken from El Cajon, California, called in with an offer of $75.
Sold.
Must have known the guy.
Yeah.
Must have known the guy in there. Let's go say goodbye to JD. JD, nice job today, buddy.
Hey, thanks a lot, John. We want to thank Harold and Deborah for showing us their incredible collection. Tomorrow we'll be back in Austin with a Frank Sinatra collector. So, John, start spreading news.
All right, JD, and I'll put in my order for, let's see, I'll take a couple hats, a couple blankets. Let's see what else we can wrangle up. Good luck on your trip to Mexico there.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks to all of you for joining us. Hope you had a good time. And thanks to you. Make the most of your day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.
So long, everybody.